Twitch is stupid.
Oops.
Twitch is Twitch, man. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. For those watching on TikTok, we're streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch if you want to check that out as well. And it will also be available as a playback, but I'll also make it into a video as well. Because the way YouTube does it is they hide their lives. All right, let's see if that works. So I'll give it a minute. Okay, from the looks of it, it is functioning. Good to see.
Oh, man.
Good to see. All right, should we get underway?
Do it.
Do it. All right. So that was a Star Wars reference, in case anyone was wondering. All right. Get my stuff ready. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LTM podcasts. We're your hosts, Daniel and Alex, and welcome to round 2 of the Repco Supercars Championship at Australian Grand Prix in Albert Park. And Alex, what a weekend of racing between both Formula One and Supercars. What did you think of it?
Well, it was better than I thought. I was a bit worried. As if you haven't seen the preview, I clearly mentioned that I was a bit scared about the whole thing. But no, it went really well, and the racing was really good, and there was a lot of drama. So yeah, it was a fun weekend.
It was very good for sure. User Fibser, how you going, bud? Welcome. Thanks for the heart, mate. I'll add your name to the board. Not that you can really see it. I am making do with tonight, so bear with me. So I'll add your name in just a minute. But what a fantastic weekend of racing. Considering we're going into the weekend worried that, you know, it was going to be ruined. We weren't going to see any action whatsoever. But not only am I happy that racing was good, I'm also hopeful for next year after this weekend, personally.
Yeah, well, it sounds very positive that it's going to continue for years to come, which after this weekend I'm excited for, because I usually was like, Grand Prix is not that great, but I don't know how. Like, the track was designed for Formula One cars, not V8 Supercars, but the action was better for V8 Supercars and F1. So, like, yeah, I think it should be here to stay. It definitely was loved by all the drivers as well. Like, yeah, I'm pleasantly shocked with how good the weekend went while you write down and you follow, or what was it?
It was a gift from TikTok. So for those watching on the stream, and will be on the pod as well. If you're live on TikTok, and or if you join us live on TikTok and you send a gift or subscribe, your name will be placed on the Legends board here. Which
with your beautiful handwriting.
It's sexy, mate. It's beautiful. So
you've already filled up that board once or twice, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I almost had to get a brand new board.
Yeah, we need like we need a wall. All right, let's do this. If we ever get a studio one day, if this gets bigger, we'll have a wall that's a whiteboard, and we'll do that.
Nice. I like the sound. I like the sound of that.
I'll be writing the names because your handwriting's terrible.
So, everyone, I have a special announcement. This is Alex's last podcast. But no, I'm kidding.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, your camera's gone. This is really good.
Sorry. Bear with me. Alex, keep talking.
All right, well, let's go through the race winners of the weekend. I've jotted them all down. Race 1, we had Brock Feeney completely dominate that race, and I was a bit worried that the racing was going to be boring from then out, but it wasn't. Will Brown came first in race 2. There you are, you're back.
I am back. I'm gone.
Race 3 wasn't meant to be won by a Red Bull, but it was in the end. Because
oh, my God.
Fords kept crashing into each other. And that was won by Brock Feeney again. And the last race was a pleasant and beautiful shock because Nick Percat won race 4.
And
it was glorious.
Wasn't that
It
special?
was a fairy tale moment. It was no, but it was, man, because he has been nowhere in the last 2 years with WAU. He even said he almost quitted racing because it was that bad.
He hated it.
And he actually hated it. And
yeah.
I knew he didn't like the car, but like, I don't think he hated the team. I just think the car was terrible and there was too much, and with being such a high level team. But look, I think he's loving the family environment down at Mattstone Racing, and it's proving a successful combination. As they won race 4, and he almost came third in race 1, I believe, but he had a penalty for knocking off.
Yeah, so he knocked off
someone.
I can't remember either now.
Was it Payne?
I think it was definitely one of the front runners. It was either Payne or Mostert.
Oh, no, it was Mostert. Yeah, that's right, because he went up to him after the race.
That's, yeah. Now, disclaimer, by the way. I went to watch the highlights quickly just to, get a refresher. Supercars are a bit lazy. They haven't quite done that yet, which is a bit unfortunate.
Right, what happened?
Hey?
And you watched that back?
Yeah. So Nick Percat, what a good weekend he had. That car is good too. He didn't just win it on luck. He won it with pace. Like, he had a brilliant start on the Sunday.
It was also the quickest car in race 1. He didn't have a good qualifying race 3, and I'll be honest, I missed race 2, so I'll sit rep. I did miss that one, but I watched the rest of them. And race 1, he had the quickest car, and if he didn't have the penalty, he would have finished third. He dropped down a couple spots, but yeah, genuinely, he was one of the quickest cars. It wasn't always consistent because race 3, his qualifying was really bad. Like, he started toward the back. But that's the game when you have a 15-minute qualifying session. You're not always going to start at the front, and that proved very true this weekend. Obviously the Red Bulls are up the top quite a bit. Monster had a very good qualifying session. Waters, a couple of front rows. But yeah, not everyone was consistent.
No, and when I was going through the results today, everyone was, I was like, oh, they had a good up and down weekend. So did everyone else. Everyone had an up and down weekend. The only consistent squad was BJR, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. And Red Bull, by the way, they were also consistent. But before we get into our usual team's standing sort of thing, let's have a look at the chat here. On YouTube, we've got Gerard. I do apologise if I said that wrong. Gerard Crab. They need to do hard tyre races Thursday, Friday to make it more of a championship round. And they didn't even bother to show any supercars on 10 on Saturday and Sunday. Not even 10 late when news was on, which is really unfortunate. It's a real shame. Now, and I've openly said that free-to-air accessibility is extremely awful for supercars. But I love the coverage of KO. I love how they do it. But it needs to be more accessible to fans, especially new ones. And yeah, no, that's a real shame. And looking over TikTok here, J-Lubs.
I mean, did they do free to air on Thursday and Friday?
I don't know. See, that's the thing.
Comment again. Let me know.
Okay,
I didn't watch it.
Let us know.
Comment again. Let us know, because that's very interesting and weird.
Yeah, because obviously, Channel 7 is the Supercars broadcast, but of course Formula 1 is the Channel 10 side of things. So that might have a play in it.
That'll be why.
J-Lub says, what's your view on the Waters Payne crash? I reckon, I say it's a racing incident.
We had mixed opinions.
Do you?
We had mixed opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, remember we were messing each other.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so look, I believe it's a racing incident. They both were bumping each other equally. It is what it is, in my opinion. What's your opinion?
I agree that it's a racing incident and no penalty should be applied. But I do think it's Matt Payne's fault.
He could have.
He did get bumped into the turn 13, and yeah, look, it's every driver's responsibility to look around.
Yeah,
and obviously, look, he hasn't had, besides the win in Adelaide, he hasn't had that much experience up the front, like in the lead. So yeah, look, I think the experience showed there, or lack of experience showed there, I would say. and Waters definitely let him know about it. We hadn't seen a driver go up to a driver's door and yell at them in a while.
No, that was quite.
It was like the Ambrose Murphy moment. I was like, "Oh shit, what's he gonna say?"
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I must admit. And Matt Payne, credit's due, man. He, as a young driver, was like, "Yeah, whatever." Like,
yeah,
sorry. He didn't get angry. He didn't yell back or anything. He was quite cool, calm, and collected. Unfortunately, karma got to him a little bit on Sunday, but yeah, I think on Saturday it was so unlucky. But personally, I think it was Payne's fault.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with Payne. Like, after being nudged at turn 12, he should have known that something might be there around there.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from there, but I do believe it's just a racing incident just because there was a nudge at the beginning and then there was a nudge at the end. Like, it's one of those ugly moments. And they both got, like, if I watched Craig Baird, his review on it, the reason he didn't penalise him was also that nudge at turn 12 Cam Waters gave. And also the fact they both DNF'd. So that's their penalty for them.
And even if there was a penalty, it wouldn't make a difference.
No.
So it's not like one of them crashed out and one didn't. So
no, exactly. Bryce says Percat's comments after the win were fighting words. They definitely were quite emotional, I've got to say. It's good to see emotion, though.
Yeah, I really felt like...
I didn't think he hated. Like, that was pure.
Like I said, I don't think he hated the team because it was a great opportunity to go to them. But I just think that, like, all the media stuff they would do, it's a big team, Andretti, blah, 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 and the fact that the car was terrible. Not so much with the Commodore, but with the Mustang it was. Remember, he came 1-2 in Adelaide.
Yeah. It's just last year he was in a real bad spot last year.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that he didn't quit because we've seen him win races before, and he's a South Aussie. We need to keep him in the grid.
Exactly. Sean, how you going, buddy? This is our Supercar podcast, which is also live on YouTube. Welcome. Joe Lub says, I wanted to watch the Percat race, but I couldn't. Sorry to hear that, man. It's just real shame. Like I said, accessibility needs to be worked on. Bales, hey, how you going? If you like AFL fantasy footy, be sure to check out Fantasy Fanatics over on YouTube. They cover all that stuff there. Your check will be in the mail, Bales. What are we up to? Bryce says they need to drop the Pole Award sponsorship. Yeah, John, shall we quickly cover that with the boost? Just quickly get that out of the way.
I'm not wearing a hat.
Yeah, no. So we're not getting $1,000. Sorry.
No.
Before we do that, I'll just quickly catch up the chat because the chat is kind of like running ahead on us. Zach, it was only Friday to Sunday free to air for F1.
Because there's no F1 Thursday. So that means the race probably wasn't on Friday either.
No, probably not, because...
That makes sense what you said with 7 and 10.
Ben Chicken, thanks for sharing and liking the live, guys. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that, Zach. Use code SaltyCam. You remember that with...
that was so bad.
Okay, we got to talk about some sponsors. I totally forgot about it.
Dude, what was Ned Whiskey thinking?
Oh,
like, I know it's funny, but like that is embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. Like that's just someone who's in their marketing team or someone who's CEO or something. That's so bad, man. Like to shout out publicly and tag Cam Waters in it.
But the fact that the discount's called Salty Cam. Like Cam he calmed down in 5 minutes.
Was a hashtag.
Yeah, he was like...
That was a hashtag.
Oh, my God. So, for people who don't know...
I was reading that and I was
like... So, for people who don't know, Ned Whiskey, which is the sponsor for Penright, and for Matt Payne's car, obviously, when they had the crash, they decided to do a promotion, basically digging Cam Waters. And also, with the boost... now we'll get into that. Basically, Peter Adderton has cut sponsorship or something, or cut funds if you don't wear the hat. I don't know how. It's just a bit of all over the mess at the moment.
He must have a drawer in his office of people he doesn't like, because like he hates everyone. in Supercars. I don't even know why he's still a part of it because everything he does, he hates, or doesn't go well. Like I'm not having a dig at him, but everything boost related hasn't lasted long. Besides the Erebus sponsorship a couple of years ago, that was probably the best thing. But like ever since then, it's just weird.
See, some of his opinions I don't mind, but then he talks a lot of stuff I don't agree with, and this is, I don't know, he's just...
I like his Supercars, sorry to cut you off. I like his Supercars opinion on how it should be in terms of, adding more cars, blah, blah, blah. He wanted his own team or something, I can't remember.
Yeah,
but everything boost related is just weird.
Yeah, Bryce Pete has a lot of things to say. He has a lot of things to say. I do feel the same way. Like I said, like him and Paul Morris, I really like their opinions regarding ownership of supercars and stuff like that.
Beautiful.
But there are some other things I don't like. He's a very he's like Barry Ryan in a way.
Yeah, except he shares it on social media.
Exactly.
Moving on. That's what
let's move. Let's get on. Let's go to the weekend. So let's get straight into the team standing. So how we do this on the podcast is basically we run through the team's championship as of round 2. So this is the team's order. This is also going to be the pit lane order for Topor in a month.
Yes. In a month. Waiting.
Ice Rhino, have you driven the supercar in iRacing? We sure have, and we do love it. So starting off with Red Bull Ampol Racing, they've got 1133 points. Decent weekend, well, almost perfect weekend, I should say. Almost a clean sweep in the races, but until Nick Percat had had other plans. Larry Perkins' trophy is now in the hands of Will Brown. He did bloody well. He was quite consistent. And also he got 5 additional points for getting a fastest lap in one of the races as well. So he's leading the championship ahead of Brock Feeney. And I love the little battle between the two. I reckon we might see a Hamilton versus Rosberg if this continues.
Well, not going to lie, I liked the battle because that gave Nick Percat the win.
I did.
So I was pretty happy with that. I was shocked at how quickly Brown caught. Like, obviously, Feeney and Percat were battling and for the lead. And then all of a sudden, Brown came along and passed Feeney and then left him in the dust. That part I was shocked with. I didn't realize that. I mean, maybe Will was conserving his tires a bit, but he had lots of pace toward the end of that race.
Oh, yeah. Like, Brock Feeney was like that in the first race on the Thursday. Like I think it has more to do with the tyre saving. Because towards the back end of that race, the first race, Brock Feeney just bolted.
Yeah, but the first 2 races did have more tyre conservation because they're longer. Whereas the last 2 kind of didn't. And that's why I'm a bit shocked about the pace.
Yeah, that's true. I totally did factor that in. When is the Gen 3 out in iRacing? I'm not too sure. Hopefully this year. We've heard nothing about it. But the sooner the better. That's what I would like.
I wouldn't put my money on that though.
No, probably next year.
No.
Actually,
I'm not sure they will in general because let's be honest, it didn't get that much attention with the cut last gen.
That's true.
Like it didn't like they did for leagues, but not for
social weekly, right? Like not for the weekly stuff.
Not for the actual weekly stuff. No.
Next up, second place in the team standings is Penrite with 685 points. Bit of a, like I said, decent weekend. Again, up and down. Like I said, Matt Payne got 2 third places with 1 DNF and 1 14th finish. He had a great first half of the weekend. Of course, he got a pole position as well.
That last race was so unlucky.
And Richie Stanaway,
won that.
He should have, but Fords had magnets. Fords love to knock Fords out.
Yeah, it was weird. And then, not only did he get hit by Monster, but he got spun by Ford.
Yeah. That's when
all right, he's down to 5th. No worries, you can come back. And then all of a sudden, it's like, nope, you're backwards.
Yeah. All it takes is one thing. That's all. Sometimes.
All it takes is one BJR driver to.
But Richie Stanaway, he finished 12th, 13th, 7th, and 8th. So his second half of the weekend turned around. Like they literally flipped pretty much. Although Stanaway was in some battles across the weekend.
Oh yeah,
but he has got pace. He has got.
He was
pace.
in every battle.
Yeah,
he was.
That's a shame, Sean. My pedals broke 3 weeks ago. That's a moment of silence for his pedals. I remember when that happened to my wheel once upon a time.
I got a spare set, but the clutch doesn't work.
You don't need a clutch, do you?
I have 2 out of 3 pedals.
There you go, halfway there. Stanaway seemed to lose pace.
There was one bit he lost like 5 positions in one lap.
That was
on the outside. Did you see that? He was on the outside the whole way.
Oh, that was brutal. I think something like that happened to Hazelwood as well. I could be mistaken, but all it takes is to run wide, and then you're losing 10 spots. But did you see the? Obviously, we've spoken about the crash with Waters already, but did you see his rim at the end of that race when he tapped wheels with Anton?
Yeah, dude, 2 of the spokes weren't even like on.
No, that thing was
no
cooked.
idea how he finished that race. No idea.
That's what I thought originally. Stanaway was the one that did it because he fell back, and he was struggling. But then, the rim damage proves otherwise.
I missed that.
And unfortunately,
I thought when Payne got spun the last race, I thought that was Stanaway. So I didn't realize that Payne had been collected by Mostert.
I thought that too. And Anton actually ended up retiring. He had an awful weekend, but we'll get into him soon.
How does he go from front row to like not even finishing?
Mate, just wait till you see the championship standings. It's gonna hurt, and I'll get into that.
I've got the top 5 here, but I didn't do the rest.
Wait till you see the bottom. Overall.
Hang on, I know where this is going.
Oh dear.
I think.
Overall,
Google it.
Penrite's got pace. I'm excited to see what they can do in Topor. Of course, it's the New Zealand team in the New Zealand rounds, so it's basically their home race. So that should be cool. Yeah, Bryce, I completely agree with you. I didn't like how the fans weren't allowed to go into the Supercars paddock. Yeah, that needs to be fixed next year.
That should be okay next year.
Yeah, and we mentioned it in our preview pod about the F1 teams and CEO wants Supercars there, but it's kind of hard to have them there when they're literally hidden behind a freaking wall or a fence, as you might as well call it. But
actually,
next
can
year,
I have a 1 minute rant about that?
Yeah, go for it. Everyone, sit down, get comfortable.
F2 whinged and whined about having about having a paddock, about having the pit lane, and in practice and quality, they didn't even use it. They used the F1 freaking pit lane and did it like how they normally would. I am furious about that. Not that furious, but that is so annoying that they kicked up a huge stink like I am right now about having the pit lane and they didn't even use it. They did the pit stops in the F1 pit lane, did all the practice sessions. They drove around the track to get back to the garage. What was the point of having the pit lane? All right, rant done.
Not furious, he says. He's not furious.
Are there any comments about
if
that?
If there was a table right now, he would be Toto Wolff and smashing it. No, but seriously though, I remember that was the first thing you told me when they went out for practice on Friday. You were like, "Why the hell are they not using it?" Oh, my God.
Are you freaking? Are you wrote in capitals?
Sean says, "Yeah, I use the clutch. All good. Loving the podcast. Thanks, man. Appreciate it."
Thanks, mate.
Hope you can get some new pedals soon. Jared says GJR still off pace. Need dyno tune soon. Late 2023. Better parity. Aero versus engine should have left aero update till engine update. See, I
don't think the parity is bad now.
I think it's
better.
it is better. I don't know that I haven't seen the numbers properly, and I haven't really reviewed lap times and stuff to compare them. But in terms of on track, like from a viewing standpoint, it looked better. But obviously, you know, still tweaks here and there needed. But we're definitely in the right direction, in my opinion. We didn't really see it Bathurst because Bathurst is Bathurst. So, this is a team I'm really happy for. Team 18 is in P3 in the team standings, which means they're in the pointy end of the pit lane with 661 points. They had a pretty good weekend. Again, everyone had an up and down weekend, so their results are literally all over the shop. But a podium for Frosty. How good is that?
Yeah, and then qualified 23rd next race.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
We just ignore that. That didn't happen. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we ignore that part. But yeah, Frosty back on the podium. And he was quick.
He was.
Was that race 2?
Race 2. Okay. That was the Friday race. That was really, really cool. Yeah. I remember because I was doing a watch-along commentary on it. And I was just so ecstatic.
Yeah, it was good.
C-Dub, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate it, mate. Mr. All, too much real motorsport going on. NASCAR, F1, Indy. Oh, mate, tell me about it. MotoGP was on. It was a mess. It was.
That's what all 5 was on.
We're
struggling to keep up here, man.
Yeah.
How are those pays for IndyCar?
Hey,
did you see the IndyCar this weekend?
I didn't.
It wasn't a championship round. It was money.
It was a it was $1 million thing, wasn't it? Or whatever you call it. It was like
this guy, Scott McLaughlin,
he came second, didn't
he? $350,000.
Scott, if you're watching, feel free to send it my bank. I'll send you my bank card details.
Can he sponsor?
I don't know. Ask him. He's behind you.
Us. Yeah. Good one.
Oh yeah, and the Sebring 12-hour on iRacing as well. Just to add to it.
There was so much on. I didn't even do that.
Yeah, you were going to do it, but then there was too much to do.
I was. No, too much.
So let's move on to Matt Stone Racing, who's in 4th position. It's good to see these little teams up the pointy end. It's good to see.
Yeah.
They've got 637 points. Of course, we got the win. They got the win. First win of the year, of course. First non-Red Bull winner. So that's cool. And
forgot about that.
They both drove fairly well this weekend. And I got to point out Cameron Hill. And I believe someone mentioned it in the chat beforehand about Walkinshaw and Matt Stone Racing.
Poor bloke.
Oh, it's really unfortunate because they were... Okay, shout out to both Ryan Wood and Cam Hill for being just in that 10 area. That was fantastic to see them both there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hill was in 8th at the time. And I don't know what happened to Ryan Wood, whether he outbroke himself and just... I'm not like... I don't know, but basically he nudged him.
I don't think he accounted for the fact that he was going to go slower because it was on the inside.
Yeah.
And there was like 5 cars in one corner.
It's probably now, Ryan Wood can get away with rookie errors. He's a rookie after all. It's only his 2nd year in a supercar, which you also got to remember. He only had one Super 2 year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he just pushed him off the circuit. And unfortunately, Cam Hill didn't actually get to finish the race. So he went from 8th to non-finisher, which is a real shame. It does cost points dearly on the last lap. And in consequence, Ryan Wood got a 30-second time penalty, which put him down to 21st or something. So,
that's penalty.
Yeah. Bryce, see the Supercars are targeting 14 rounds next year. Mate, I am jumping up and down.
That was another piece of news.
Wait, is this another rant? Oh, no, okay. Another news.
No.
Okay. Yeah, another news.
It's a good thing. It's a positive rant.
How good is it, though? Because I was like to you.
I'm just trying to think of what we're going to add.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, well, if they keep what they've got now and add Taylor and Ben, that's 13 already. And they're aiming for a possible Sydney Super Night for a season opener. They don't plan on doing Bathurst again. They
said they want another street circuit.
Oh, at Newcastle, like that area. No, not
No.
somewhere in New South Wales.
They want Was it in New South Wales or out New South Wales? I thought it was out.
I don't know. I have to have a look at that. La Ferrari, how you going, mate? Saw you at AMF. Are you the one that I met? I do apologise if you're not, but if you are, pleasure meeting you. Bryce, Wington,
We met someone.
Yeah, Wington and QR. Hopefully, yeah, they'll be. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I can bring Canberra back.
The more, the merrier. Yeah, Canberra. I just remember playing on the PS2.
Yeah,
that's how I remember it. But no,
bring that track back. That was a legendary track.
Speaking of that, Cam Hill, he went to the Motorsport, the Canberra version of the Motorfest, whatever they called it. That was cool to see. Hot
cool.
Lap, how are we doing, lads? We're doing mighty fine, mate. How are you? Did you enjoy the race this weekend? Let us know. We definitely did. Both F1 and Supercars. Next up, also Percat is 4th in the standings now, which is great to see.
I know.
It's a great turnaround. 5th place is Erebus Motorsport with 598 points. They're slowly moving back and back in terms of pit orders. Good racing from them overall. They were stuck together for a lot of the races until. Unfortunately, Jack LeBrock actually had a moment with Thomas Randall and retired due to damage. And Todd Hazelwood was in the wars with James Courtney, I believe, as well, in the final race there. So he suffered a lot of rear damage. But overall, I don't expect a lot from them. But to be sitting inside the 10 majority of the weekend, it is what it is. Got nothing to complain about it. Hot Lap, didn't see much of it, was working all weekend, but heard all the drama. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of drama for sure. Alex?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm doing some stats.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
All right,
Continue.
all good. Gerald Crabb, SVG, bad luck at Coda. Yeah, no, he drove really well, though, I got to say. I watched a bit of it. And I heard what happened, but no, he'll get there.
If F1's all about Daniel Ricciardo's track limit. Did you watch the NASCAR race? My God, anything goes there, and someone got a 30-second penalty for what? Their track limits do not exist.
That car is not the NASCAR is not really suited for Coda. That's more of an aero track.
Not at all.
No. Gerald Krebs says not New South Wales with Visit New South Wales money. And then he reckons maybe the Bend and Singapore GP, because there is talks of there's been talks for a long time about Supercars joining Formula One for sports.
That would be amazing.
But it will be a daytime race, which isn't a bad thing.
It's fine.
Yeah. But if they plan on doing a nighttime,
hang on, that Singapore race starts late though. Like, it could be like a twilight race. Because that Singapore race starts at like 1 p.m.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
It's not just like a 7, 6 p.m. race. It literally is like almost bedtime. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, but it would be cool to see something like that. See what happens as the future goes. Next up is 6th place with Walkinshaw Andretti United with 596 points. Great pace between both cars. Ryan Wood, personal best in 10th place. Good to see him finally finishing the race to begin with. And to actually do a good result. Besides, the only thing he did do wrong was that collision with Cam Hill. Other than that, solid weekend for him. Bryce, the Bend is supposed to be an Enduro round next year. Yes, it is, and I'm excited. Hopefully, it does not replace Sandown. Hopefully, it's additional. Hopefully, we get a 3-round Enduro series like we used to.
I can bring back the bloody Gold Coast 600.
I do love the sprint races at Gold Coast, but I do love the Enduros at the same time. I got mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, but the sprint races are long though. It's not like they're.
Yeah, that's true. They are
long. They're still 250Ks. It's about it.
Yeah, let's just double that. Because Enduro. If you make a good point, because Enduro they had 2 101 lap races.
Yeah, my point.
So yeah, no, Bryce agrees with you as well. So there you go.
Good work, Bryce. Legend.
So yeah, Chaz Mostert. Overall, decent weekend for him. He was quite quick. Of course, he got a pole position and just one podium. But he also, unfortunately, knocked Matt Payne off the road at the final race there, as we saw. He almost ran into a couple ducks as well. He got a 5-second penalty for that. He actually make a point on him. It was good to see he's real mature, isn't he, Chaz? He went straight to Penrite Garage and apologised. He's real mature, isn't he?
Are we still only on Walkinshaw?
No, we're up to
Boy.
No, in fairness, we've been talking about Walkinshaw through the whole night. So, so overall decent weekend, but they only stand where they are now in points because Ryan Wood had a horrible start to the year. So they're sort of catching up at the moment. Bring back the PureTech Enduro Cup. I agree with it. I want that back. And proper too. Was there a crew? Okay, I didn't actually see this. There was a crew fight between WAU and Matt Stone Racing after the race.
Yeah, no one saw it, or no one recorded it at least. There was just some news about it.
Because someone mentioned it before, and I forgot to mention it. I didn't catch what the...
It was about the Ryan Wood Hill.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I didn't...
I don't know what happened there.
No, I'm curious. But Ty, welcome, mate. What do you guys think about Ryan Wood? He's a fantastic bloke. Like what you just mentioned about him, he's learning. He made an error. It was a bit of a silly error, but he is learning. So I'll cut him some slack with that. But he's a fast up and comer for sure, I reckon. And I'm excited to see what he can do at Topor, given it's his home race. We've got a lot of Kiwis in the field. 5 in total. And plus, technically, Penrite is the Kiwi team.
The whole of Grove Racing, including owners.
Except for David Catchy. But
yeah, well,
but Ty, punch on of words. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Alex, do you know anything about it?
No, all I know is there's just an incident.
Yeah, so if anyone does know what happened, just let us know and we'll shout it out. Sandown Bend Bathurst Enduro Cup. I reckon that's what next year will be like.
Sounds good.
Although I prefer probably Bend before Sandown, but we'll see how we go. I don't know. I'm just so used to having Sandown before Bathurst.
Yeah, agreed.
Seventh
place.
Jinx. 7th place, Tickford, with 551 points. Now, obviously, their standings and results don't show where they are in pace. They had no luck this weekend. Thomas Randall, unfortunately, had probably one of the worst weekends he's had in a while. I don't know if if he had a rear issue. He was struggling with rear brakes throughout the weekend. He, of course, punted...
sounds like Max Verstappen.
He punted someone out. I can't remember who. Oh, it was Ryan Wood. He punted Ryan Wood off at turn 1.
That's right, yeah. You didn't hear my joke.
I heard it. I'm just delaying. Yeah, well, at least at least Tom got to finish the race. And good thing is he got to finish 4th in the final race there. So he went from being in the 20s all weekend to finishing 4th. It's good. And whereas Cam Waters, he finished 5th, 7th, DNF, and 7th. Of course, I
feel like a lot of teams, as they progressed, got better, except for BJR. But that's
No, they've sort of dropped. And speaking of them, actually, no, we're not up to them yet. That's how that's how low they are. Premier Hire Racing, 539 points. Hey, no, the only time I saw them. The only time I saw them was when they synchronized spun. They spun at the same corner.
Did they?
Yeah, they did with, I think Tim Slade was the first to go, and then James Golding spun. And then Tim Slade brought Nick Percat back to the pits after Nick ran out of fuel.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. That was some Lightning McQueen stuff there.
Won a chance to finish his last race.
Yeah, that's it. No, so that's cool. Apparently, Nick was actually trying to get Will Brown or Chaz Mostert's attention. Like, instead, he wasn't waving or anything. He was literally like, "Help me!" So, fellow South Aussie gave him a helping hand there, so that's good. Sean, I agree. Bring back the cup. I think we've just mentioned that already. Sorry. Bryce Grove should run a retro. That would be cool. A retro Team Kiwi livery. That would be nice to see.
Shout out to Tim Slade, real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but besides race 1, he finished top 10 in all the races.
Yeah, that's good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah,
He's finished 15th, and then I think 10th, and then 8th, and then 10th again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so they're the silent achievers. Well, at least he is anyway.
And Golding, I've always said is bloody quick, but he just gets caught up in everything.
It's like Scott Pye.
And sometimes he's not even getting caught up; he just makes his own mistakes.
Yeah, it's like Scott Pye. He's a quick driver. He just has probably the worst luck in motorsport history. And did you see his Porsche? I know we're going a bit off topic with the supercars, but did you see?
I didn't watch any Porsche.
He had I think, an oil problem, so he retired from the first Porsche race. And I was like, of course, it has to be him. But no. Sean, rep the WPS cars. Now that would be funny indeed. I've still got flashbacks from when I did my supercar stream a couple of weeks ago. Oh, just check out my TikTok reels to see that. Also,
what does it stand for again?
We produce safety cars. Well, that's the only one I remember. We've also got a shirt, by the way, cheeky plug, up above our heads here and down below Alex's head. We've got merch, and we've got a We Produce Safety Car t-shirt, so feel free to check that out. Cheeky plug.
Cheeky.
Alex was frozen for a millisecond there. I thought he was you were just smiling at me. I was kind of getting creeped out because you weren't blinking, but that's okay. I'm glad you're doing well. Next up is BJR Part 1, the RJ Batteries Middies team with 505 points. Well, they're very disappointing.
We'll combine the two because this is hilarious.
All right, we'll combine them.
Their best result was Andre Heimgartner in race 2, and it was 14th.
Yikes.
And the best part, and I hope no one's a BJR fan because this is hilarious. They finished last in order, so the bottom 4 cars in the last 2 races.
Oh my God, they did too.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's a shame. That is a real shame. Because I do like them.
And the worst part was, in the last race, Bryce Ford started 5th.
He got a penalty though as well. He got 15-second penalty.
Yeah, I know, but still.
But the thing is, actually, now you mentioned it about Bryce Ford, he's the leading BJR driver at the moment, in my opinion. And he's the leading championship driver in the standings, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Which normally we're used to seeing Heimgartner, but their cars, I don't know, they've just had a horrible start to the year. And I hope their luck turns around soon. Especially because Andre, he did really well last year.
Yeah,
so yeah, I don't know. He got some gremlins or something like that. So hopefully he gets a bit better. How is this going to affect Matt Payne's legacy? Tate says. I wouldn't think much of it. It's just racing. Everyone will forget about it in 2 weeks' time, or 4 weeks' time when they go to Topor, and him back on the podium probably.
Yeah, if he can stitch up podium still, everyone just think it's a mistake. Yeah. Everyone's done it. They've all done it.
It's racing. It's just racing hard. It's good to see that they're having a crack at it. It's better than just driving in a circle.
Scott McLaughlin didn't use his mirrors in 2017, so it's fine.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. Jared says BJR should sign Zach Best, and I agree. Zach Best deserves a seat.
We said that last year.
Yeah, he deserves a seat.
Last year, but Jackson Evans got it. Jackson Evans is also very good, but no, I definitely Zach Best. What is he even doing this year? Nothing.
I have no idea. The only thing I know is his sister's
I
racing
reckon
Super
he's
Utes.
quit. Oh, is she?
Hmm.
I reckon he's kind of taking a break because he said that last year, but then
Oh, you know what?
that team gave him an offer.
Michael, who follows us on TikTok, he did mention what happened to Zach Best in one of my lives. I totally forgot what he said, though. I think he's having a break from racing, at least. I think, for now. But yeah, hopefully we can see him in a car soon. P10, here's a bit of a disappointing one. Shell V-Power Racing with 481 points. They had an awful weekend, but in saying that, Will Davison drove really well, I got to say. Except for race 1, but the rest of the weekend he did good. Anton, he had that DNF, but he also, unfortunately, couldn't even start the last race on Sunday due to wheel drama or some drama in the car. So, a terrible weekend for DJR. Yeah, it's not a good start to the year. And like I said, he had that wheel damage with Matt Payne as well. P11 is Blanchard Racing with 381 points. Now, James Courtney managed to make it into the top 10 on race 1, and then it's a bit all over the shop for the rest of the weekend. Aaron Love, he's learning, he's doing well. He also finally got to finish a race like Ryan Wood this weekend. Of course, Bathurst was a baptism of fire for both of them. But
yeah.
That car looks really nice. I love the blue cool drive car. It looks really nice. Plus,
the black wheels, man. It's the black wheels.
It is it's just. And then also Liam Lawson got a cheeky supercar drive for the demos of the Super Van, so that was cool. Cool to see. And last but not least in the standings, as we mentioned already, it's the second half of BJR's, the SCT Pizza Hut entries, the SpongeBob Mobile, with 362 points. The only thing I've written down here for the weekend is the fact that SpongeBob top practice 1.
How?
Don't know.
How?
I don't know what he's been
having. And then he qualified last.
Something's in that Krusty Burger.
Yeah, but it only lasted one session.
Yeah, it was short-lived. But that is the Melbourne SuperSprint for 2024. Let's have a look at the championship standings for drivers. So I'll quickly brief this over. Will Brown is leading the way. Then we got Brock Feeney, Chaz Mostert, and then Nick Percat, as I said, was 4th. David Reynolds is 5th, Richie Stanaway 6th, and ahead of Matt Payne in the 7th. And 8th is Thomas Randall, who's a point ahead of Hazelwood, who is actually tying with Davison and Winterbottom at the moment. So they both are sitting on 303 points. And then in 12th, we've got Jack LeBrock. And then we've got Golding, Fullwood, Slade, Waters, which there's a few big names at the bottom here, with Waters being 16th and Heimgartner 17th. Courtney, Hill, and Jones, Di Pasquale is 21st. Definitely not where he belongs. And Evans is actually tying with him, so that's saying another thing. And then we've got Love and Wood. Of course, those two basically got 0 points last time out, so they'll be doing some catch-up for a while.
All 3 rookies at the back.
That's it.
For now.
But that's it for the Melbourne Grand Prix weekend. So overall, Alex, first off, what would you give a rating out of 10 for the weekend for Supercars? Not F1, we'll do that tomorrow. And who is your driver of the weekend?
I'd rate the weekend a solid. As a whole, I rate the racing as a 9. I'd rate the whole logistic of the supercars, blah blah blah, the access, the whole event as a 7. Just look, I got to knock a point off for the fact that no fans were able to see them. That was just pathetic.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, that's not supercars' fault. I will admit that, but as a spectacle, personally, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to the Grand Prix this year, just because you're paying more money for less. No supercars access, no F2, no F3 access. What else? There was something else that was missing. Can't remember.
Pit stops.
And yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it was just It was better than I expected, though. I will admit that. So, yeah, no, I'm happy with that. What was the other question you asked me?
Who is your driver of the weekend?
Driver of the weekend. I'm going to put Nick Percat. Like, obviously, the 2 Red Bull drivers are the best, but Nick Percat was a shock and a good shock. I also had my predictions here. Did you write your predictions down?
I didn't write them down. I can't even remember who we said. I said Feeney and Brown.
Yeah, so did I. Did you say Brown too?
And Mostert. Oh, definitely Feeney and Mostert, I said. And Waters, probably. And that kind of...
Yeah, I think it was Waters. So I had Feeney, Reynolds, and Mostert, and I think I got one right.
Nice.
But technically, I got Feeney times 2. So.
I should write that. We should write predictions down more. Well, I should anyway. You probably already do.
Just this first one.
Bryce says,
what would you rate it?
Before I do that, Bryce said, why did Cam need a new car? It was only the second round. Just because that car, I don't know, he just didn't. It's like Gisbergen. He just wasn't comfortable with that car. It wasn't a good car at all. He couldn't adjust to it. He had a horrible weekend at Bathurst. Of course, he wasn't feeling well as well. But you know, the chassis that he had this weekend was so much better up until it was in the fence. But other than that fact, it was that's the reason why. But in terms of my rating, I have to say probably 8.6 out of 10 as a whole weekend. It would be a 9 if it wasn't probably just for... See, it doesn't affect us much, but it's more the fan accessibility with the lockout. Like, it was really disappointing to see that no fans can access it pretty much. And especially, I hate it more because it's a worldwide stage. It's the one time of the year they have a worldwide audience with Formula One being there. And
I wonder,
stuff like that.
did overseas people get to see it? Like on the broadcast? Because I don't think they do, because Sky Sports wouldn't put it on.
No, I'd say no.
I don't think they'd see it, just like free to air.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but I don't think so, no, because unless it's like what we do here, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a very good question, actually.
It is a good question.
Well, even though it is on the F1 calendar, did people get to watch it? I don't know.
Well, did people get to watch the Porsche races? Like, international as well? That's another...
I do. Yeah, when Porsche Super Cup's on.
Well, then maybe. I don't know. It would be interesting. But in terms of
international viewers.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't, according to Bryce, it wasn't televised out of Australia. Unless you have that Super View, which is the thing you can get if you're overseas for supercars on their website.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Gerald says they need to use pit lane and longer races Thursday, Friday. Do you know, I would love a mix of sprint, a mix of maybe a pit stop race, just to spice it up. Maybe even a cheeky reverse grid as well, just to spice it up, in my opinion.
I actually didn't mind the length of the races this year. I mean, the 2 shorter ones were a bit short, but the Thursday and Friday, I didn't mind it. I think it was like a good distance.
Sean reckons 3 races instead of 4. Like, if they did 2 sprints, 1 long one, like they used to do with 2014 when they did that weird thing with the 2 sprints, 1 long one on the Sunday for every round. If they did that, that could be interesting.
I think the Friday was definitely squeezed in. They didn't start till like 5:30.
No, that was delayed because of the Formula 3 crash. So there was at least 3 different crashes in Formula 3 for qualifying. It was ridiculous. So yeah, that's why they were behind, about half hour behind. So they missed 2 laps. But I was genuinely surprised with the racing. I honestly thought the races were too long for the softs, or they were, you know, they weren't going to have a lot of action, but I was impressed. I was genuinely impressed, I got to say. And my driver of the weekend...
I kind of liked how they had the softs, because it forced some people to tire save at the start or the end. You know, there wasn't a strategy, but there was more conservation. But it wasn't like the SVG complaint where you're just constantly following everyone.
No, it was genuine good racing.
Yeah, it was killer. Anyway, who was your driver of the week?
Nick Percat. Like, not just because he won, but he was up there for the majority of the weekend. He got 2 6th places, a 1 9th, and the win. He did good. I would have said Mark Winterbottom, but he had a bit of an up and down. Well, he drove really well Friday, but he had a bit of an up and down.
I was going to say Matt Payne.
Matt Payne as well.
It's hard to give a driver the day that's not even finished.
It's hard
twice.
But yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, yeah,
but it's a special story.
If those two incidents didn't happen, we'd have had all 4 podiums.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And the fact that also Nick was able to hold off the 2 Red Bulls.
Yeah, I got worried.
On pace alone. I was so worried. And then I don't know what happened between them. Like, they tried to battle each other, the 2 Red Bulls, and then Nick was able to get away. But I was definitely nervous for sure. Bryce thinks 1 qualifying, 3 races, 1 reverse grid, 1 qualifying result, and 1 round point. What? Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know if that made sense. Sorry if that didn't make sense the way I said it. It makes sense written here. I think I just butchered that. But yeah, that'll be cool. Sean, is boring to see supercars do 25-minute races to 35 minutes, maybe 3 45-minute races, just to stretch it out a bit longer.
Yeah, the problem is they're 4th in line for priority.
That is also another thing. Like, Porsche is actually ahead of them, I think. What did you say? No.
Yeah.
Nah, Porsche will
be behind them.
Nah, Porsche will be behind you. Yeah, there's not a lot of categories, but there is a lot of time certain stuff. But
yeah.
I like your idea though. If we could, that I would like that. That would, more racing the better. Because I reckon they can easily do that long on that tyre after this weekend.
40 minutes.
Yeah. If they save, because the first race was 40 minutes long, roughly, on the Thursday. So
yeah,
what's another 5 minutes? They won't do reverse in championship. No. But I would love to see a reverse, just to spice it up, just a little fun challenge from 1st and 10th place, like Formula 3 and Formula 2 do.
F1 should do that.
Formula 1 should do that. They should make Max Verstappen be banned from qualifying, but we'll get into that. But any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight's podcast?
No, I'm good. Just got to wait another month for another race.
Yeah. And of course, that next race is at the ITM Topor Super 400. Max Verstappen to go. How you going, buddy?
Our preview is going to be good for that. We have no idea what we're going to expect.
Exactly. And of course, it's happening on April 19th to the 21st. It's going to be 2 200k races. It's a new track. We've never been there before.
I might be in Sydney for that.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, when you're
the high tech one.
Is that late? Oh, I have to look at the dates there. But you might be on that weekend. See what happens. But Sean, I'm not tonight, but I might do that tomorrow. I just don't have my normal setup tonight, unfortunately. He was wondering if I was going to play the games tonight and keep streaming. But we'll wait for that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow if I can. I just don't have my normal setup, unfortunately. But stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for our Formula 1 debrief tomorrow night, same time, 7 p.m. ACDT.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. And we're going to be doing it on YouTube and TikTok as well, just like tonight. And all of this will be also re-uploaded as a video on YouTube, as a bit of a condensed version. It will also be available on Spotify, so feel free to check that out. Give us a 5-star rating and a follow. Helps us a lot. We've also got a merch store, like I mentioned before, with the We Produce Safety Cars. As you can see, I'm wearing one of our tops here. We've also got some hats now as well that you can check out, and a mug and some stickers. So if that is interested if you're interested in that, feel free to check it. Bryce, yes, same time tomorrow, mate. New Zealand, I think it's a 2-hour difference between Australia and New Zealand. I think they're 2 hours ahead. Yeah, it's like Perth. Just switch Perth around. Unless you're in Perth, then it's 4 hours ahead. Oh my god. I was just trying to work out time zones in my head here. But so we'll wrap this up. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in tonight. Appreciate all your questions and all your chats. Like I said, stay tuned. I'll probably upload this at 6 p.m. Our time tomorrow, just in time for our F1 debrief tomorrow night. So thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching, wherever you are in the world or on devices. And hope to see you once again tomorrow night for our F1 debrief. Bye for now.